Recently, I posted a gameplay clip of this mech system. This is Enforcers LL, anime FPP shooter with mech combat, built from ground up for a client who came to me with no experience, no team, no prior developer, no nothing written, just a concept. Everything you're about to see, I built from zero without expecting feedback, which means that I've analyzed, I've broken down the full vision, and here is entire process from start to finish. We're gonna go through the AI usage, how I research and analyze the competitor games, the reference games, the what players love, what players hate, and then how I transform it into with my software architecture and design patterns and development strategy into a AAA gameplay system. I audit the vision, meaning that I source what works, what players hate, what they crave for, and what they love. So this way, I broken down the whole vision and the goal into tangible steps, and I delivered it without needing to hear any kind of feedback, thinking about all the feedback that I could hear beforehand, so that there was no friction. And let's give it a play. So we have the camera system, and the main reference is Gundam 2, but it's an old, outdated game, obviously with terrible graphics. So we have here the new updated graphics. So we have the running system with leaning and camera effects. We have the dash system with all the VFX. It has also SFX, but I'm just muting the sound so we don't get bothered. We have a flight with the fast flight, and we have the descent. Most of them are custom animations as well. So we have walk stop, we have walk start, we have run stop animation, we have dash custom animation, we have the shooting system, obviously. We have the rocket system, so if I press T, we can fire the rockets to the direction we are facing, we can shoot, and we can fire the rockets at the same time. Then we have the shield system as well, plus we have the combat system as well with some of the heavy attacks. So for example, I can do the heavy attack. Then we have some combat attacks as well. And as said, this is fully multiplayer mech system, so it runs fully in multiplayer. So let me walk you through the process. So first step, references and the research process. I give all the requirements that I received and then how I want to approach it. What are the steps we need to take? So this all gets into a very, very clear few steps research. For example, we researched the game feel. So I have the document, this MD document, which has visual references as well. Some of the even GDC talks breakdowns. As an example, this is great GDC talk or the breakdown video of the game feel, how they transform empty, dry ball game into very, very juicy ball game, right? Then I go through all of these, I watch it, I take some notes, then I go through, for example, a competitor or the reference game, which is AC6. So I open it up here and I go through the references, I watch it, I analyze it. But after that, we start going deeper with specific breakdowns of what makes our game unique as well and what players crave. So for example, GBO2 Gundam 2 reference and like design lessons. What do we understand from it? What is the core philosophy? How the dash system works, how the fly hover system works, how the camera shakes operate, the landing, the shooting, everything. So everything is broken down. I can open it up, I can read it, I can go through the, for example, some of the links here. This is a good analysis of the Gundam 2, so on. This is such an important to deliver highly polished product. Once this is done, there comes the second step, which is documenting and understanding how the software architecture will work for this specific project and how I'm gonna approach the development itself. I'm gonna pre-plan everything. And what I see in many failed projects and low ticket projects is they just start building without even analyzing, without having the clear defined approach for development. So in my case, I have this large SOP document which has overview, the project setup, the folder overview, project setup, the folder structure, naming conventions. For any case, we have blueprint architecture, coding standards, animation standards, version control, how it works. Then we have not just the words or the documentation or just the text, even though it has a lot of examples, it has a lot of clear points, but I also record myself a video of me going through everything that developer might face. In this case, it's just me, a developer, but sometime I might forget something in one of the project and I can watch this video and then realize that this is how I did it that time, so I need to do the same thing now as well. This is so I never get lost, and whenever new developer joins the project, because a large projects require new developers in specific departments, they just read this, they understand the naming conventions, they understand the blueprint architecture, they understand the coding standard, how I do and work on every single detail inside the project, and project becomes cohesive. Only after this design and development dev strategy, I start building. Not before this, but only after this, because there is a saying, without planning, you are planning to fail, or without preparation, you are preparing yourself to fail. And third starts the develop. And someone may ask, why not to just buy a Mac pack from the marketplace? And there is just one simple answer. This quality just does not exist, and even if it did, because when you buy an asset, you are buying someone else's architecture, someone else's decisions, and someone else's coding style, someone else's a lot of mistakes. That developer had completely different vision for the project. For example, even the Gasp is just a tech demo showcase. You cannot use Gasp, the gameplay animation sample, you cannot use the Gasp as it is for a full project, because full project requires completely different software architecture, exactly what I described here. Gasp does not have this. That's why it's just a tech demo. If you want to build from Gasp foundation, you need to delete everything in the Gasp. You need to grab the animations and build everything yourself from the scratch. That's what I always do. And if you still use the asset, everything conflicts and a mix of software architecture and development strategy collapse the project. This is okay for a test project, but anything that has long-term vision for success, this is a step to guaranteed and inevitable failure. And simply because I understand software architecture this well, I'm able to deliver as well as custom-made animations from the animators I work with and train, because I understand why animation could look bad or why animation could look good. Because if the client tries themselves to deliver me or source me the animations, they don't understand how the root should work, how the animation transition should work, where it should start blending from and where it should end blend, like the poses. They don't know this, even the technical requirements for the model as well. That being said, the game becomes very fragile and inconsistent, incohesive. That's why whenever I have expertise on how to even control the animators so they deliver the quality I need, then it becomes so much more sustainable and reliable in long term. So that's very important. For example, if the client did this dash animation, it could have looked very ugly, simply because they would not understand how to start the animation, so the dash start, dash loop, and dash end, right? If they, so for example, sourced it from the Fiverr developer, that's one thing. But whenever I know and whenever I've done similar projects, I know what are the mistakes that we could make and how to avoid them, because I've already seen them. This is the priceless part of the word experience. If you want to bring proven success and build AAA gameplay systems built to break boundaries, visit thesgpro.com. The website link is down in the description and you can work with me. There are 3 ways I help you succeed, which is specialist gameplay programmer. If you need me only as a gameplay programmer, done for you demo, I'm gonna build successful game demo for you, or I can coach and consult you on your project as to be a strong CEO for a successful game. See you in the next one.